In the headlines, a more efficient response coming from fire officers and paramedics for several communities. Government moves to amalgamate the Rural and Urban Development Commissions. Police investigate a stabbing incident which has shocked a Black Rock community.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening to you and welcome to the news at this time. I'm Tisha Hines. Residents in communities outside Bridgetown are being promised quicker response times with the completion of the Barbados Fire and Ambulance Service Complex in a few months. Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams and other officials have provided an update. Anesta Henry reports.
The Bridgetown Fire Service and Emergency Ambulance Complex will be completed by the end of April. Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrams says even though there have been challenges with the construction process, he is pleased with the modern and sustainable features of the facilities. Expenditure on the project currently stands at $33.5 million. Mr. Abrams was among other officials who led a media team on a tour of the facilities.
Safety, efficiency, functionality took precedence over trying to stick to the narrow confines of the budget. The price that we're expecting for the completion is not significantly over what the tender price was, and I'm comfortable with the reasons for it. We also had some serious supply chain challenges, very serious supply chain challenges that delayed our ability to complete, but we all know that's not just in relation to this project, it was in relation to almost everything that was going on in the country and globally.
Despite the construction challenges, the minister says the Pine St. Michael-based complex is an impressive site.
I am impressed by the thought that went into the building. I am impressed to see it being manifested now. As you can see, there's tremendous capacity for solar on the roof, and the intention is to have this building as close to self-sufficient as we possibly can. There's plenty of water storage. Every drop of rain or every drop that falls on this building in the yard is collected in the underground tanks, and that's to build in some resilience for the building and the operation. So that water will be used to replenish the trucks. It'll be used for washing down anything in the facility, so we don't have to rely on as much on the Barbados Water Authorities or the National Potable Water Supply. Right? The generating capacity here can actually run this building for about 7 days.
Chief Fire Officer Aaron Maynard says when the work is completed, emergency personnel will be able to service outer Bridgetown communities in a more efficient manner.
Currently we have the port station, and that combined with this station here would allow us to not only serve the people in the Pine, but increase our response time, because the port will respond to anything in the Bridgetown area, and we will supplement that response. Going into town is generally easier than coming out of the town, especially in peak traffic or high traffic periods.
The tender price for the project is $30 million. Project manager and managing partner of Design Collaborative, George Holder, says the cost overrun is due to planning changes.
Some difficulties with imputation of windows, some difficulties with the site itself, where we tried to, after we've done the design, we've tried to make some improvements which we think would be down to the benefit of the fire service.
Construction work on the complex started in September 2022. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Meanwhile, there is a promise to address concerns the sirens from the emergency vehicles are disturbing nearby schools. Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrams says the sensitivities of the students at these special needs institutions have been considered, and emergency officials will be required to follow standard operating procedures.
All who are involved in traffic management in Barbados, Ministry of Public Works, the police, everybody's on the same page where it's concerned. Effectively, you're just controlling the traffic. You put on the siren to avoid the traffic or to alert that you're coming out. Once we trigger the lights to the south and to the north, then the traffic should be at a standstill and the vehicles can exit, and they have a relatively clear view onto the road. As you can see, once the hoarding is down, the vehicles who are exiting this bay can see right at the road and right down the road, so they can exit safely, and once they're past the point where the noise is going to interfere with the children in the school, then you can trigger the siren and go about your business.
Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard says the Barbados Fire Service is engaging the Ministry of Education about the plans.
In the very near future, probably next week or week after next, we will have a sit down again to finalize the actual operationalizing of the plans. That includes also though some training for the schools, and the schools will be providing some training for the fire officers to deal with persons with autism and that such when they get agitated. So we have a comprehensive plan in place.
Government is to amalgamate the Rural Development and the Urban Development Commissions. The announcement from Acting Prime Minister and Senior Minister in the Prime Minister's Office, the Honourable William Duguid. Dr. Duguid outlined the plans in the Lower House today, and our Wendy Burke joins us now to tell us what the Minister says about the impact of this development on the workers and the public. Wendy, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Tisha. Dr. Duguid led off debate today in the Lower House on the Rural and Urban Development Commission Bill 2025. He says it is not often two state enterprises are joined.
It has been long in coming. You would recall the throne speech of right after the last election, where the president spoke about the joining together and making fit for purpose these two commissions. And we could not have gotten this far to be able to now get to legislation without tremendous work being done by many, many people throughout the service of this country.
Dr. Duguid adds all members of staff are being encouraged to sign on to the new commission, and those who do not will be offered voluntary separation packages.
Similar to what I did when I was Minister of Transport. I can digress a little bit here, but I remember when we had the drivers at the Transport Board who took a voluntary separation package and were able to get a gratuity with that voluntary separation package. And you know what they did? They went and bought buses and then went into the transport augmentation program. Many of them in that today, empowering people, and that is what this administration is about. And I would imagine that people who may take voluntary separation packages from the Urban and Rural Development Commission, they themselves could be entrepreneurs, be it go then to become small contractors themselves.
Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Dwight Sutherland, meanwhile, has revealed plans for hardwood housing in some corridors on the outskirts of the city. He says there are plans for an urban renewal program with the acquisition of 3 acres of land at Hinesbury Road and other areas.
We have acquired lands at Kensington New Road, where we are building Jurvilla houses through the Urban Development Commission. We have acquired land at Harmony Hall. Again, Urban Development Commission. Haggett Hall, we have built 12 units, quads at Haggett Hall. Yes, we had a little issue this weekend that is resolved. Grisette's Great House, Country Road, Hinesbury Road I mentioned. Mr. Speaker, tell me if these are not Robert Street, Wharton's Gap. These are the urban corridors.
Opposition leader Ralph Thorne agrees there needs to be a renewal of the island's housing stock, but he's expressed concern about land for agriculture being replaced to build out the island's housing stock.
Anytime there's an opportunity for renewal and improvement in what is called the housing stock, that is an occasion for great excitement among parliamentarians. We like to see our constituencies looking better than they are at times.
In his contribution, Minister of Home Affairs and Information, Wilfred Abrams, has urged people to be honest about their living conditions, recalling an experience, Hurricane Elsa. He says following the hurricane, government undertook to rebuilding the homes of those who could not. Mr. Abrams says he does not believe government will be able to undertake such an exercise again, but he stresses the template is there for those interested in rebuilding to withstand at least a Category 1 hurricane.
We realize in that instance that we are not as prepared as we are for a massive rebuilding effort. And it is better to prepare yourself against the devastation than it is to try to rebuild after the event. We recognize we could not rebuild as it was before. In most of the instances, the houses that were damaged had not just the roofs lost, but you had underlying other issues that made it impractical to repair those houses. UDC and RDC came up with a design, almost like a cookie cutter design for rebuilds.
Member of Parliament for St. Peter, Colin Jordan, supports the bill, but wants land tenure issues in 6 Men's resolved. He says residents there have been facing ownership challenges since the 1970s.
I know that the Honourable Senior Minister, Acting Prime Minister, has been working on that. I've had initial conversations with the Honourable Member for St. George South, the Minister of Housing as well. But I have to say, and I have to say it loudly, the matter of land tenure in 6 Men's has been outstanding for far too long.
Debate continues in the House of Assembly. Tisha?
Thank you so much, Wendy. Well, coming up, an update on a store worker stabbed in the face by an attacker last night. A 25-year-old female employee of a BlackRock establishment has been hospitalized after being attacked by a man last night. She received multiple stab wounds requiring surgery. The owner of J&E General Store, James Morgan, tells CBC News the employee was attacked on the job and a piece of the knife purchased at the store left in her jaw. The attack was recorded on closed-circuit television footage now circulating on social media. Mr. Morgan, who was not at the store at the time of the incident, describes the initial transaction as normal. He says he spoke to the employee who was expected to undergo surgery. Mr. Morgan says following the incident, he has to improve the security at his close to 40-year-old establishment.
I have to secure the place better. I have to put up. I always thought that self-service was my best option, especially having 2 young ladies work. But I have to do more security now. So I have to put up a rail, the 3 sides of the store, if you know how the store looks.
A police drug operation has netted several packages believed to contain vegetable matter, weighing just over 560 kilograms, with a street value of more than $4.5 million. In a statement, the Barbados Police Service says members of the Narcotics Division and other law enforcement agencies conducted an operation at Welch's Beach, Christchurch on Sunday, February 9th. Police say there are 6 people in custody assisting with their investigations. 1 vessel and a vehicle are also in custody. Investigations are continuing into this matter. Barbadians will have the opportunity to learn about some of the island's history as the University of the West Indies hosts the Standpipe Series. This is according to Senior Lecturer in History and Head of the Department at the University of the West Indies CAFL campus, Dr. Henderson Carter. He says St. Peter's installation of the series kicks off tonight, and while many of the stories told in Barbadiana sound fictional, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Dr. Carter was speaking on Morning Barbados, and he's calling on all Barbadians to share their stories with the hopes of publishing them.
Barbados has many stories. Yes. Every parish has a story. As a matter of fact, we're taking this lecture series to every single parish. there are wonderful stories being told by people and retold. And of course, what we have done in the university, we've researched a lot of those stories. And each parish has exciting stories. For example, in my parish, the parish of St. George, there's a story of a man who died twice.
The 37 years of dedication to humanitarian causes by Lions Club East will continue as their future vision lies in the creation of a better world. This was part of the vision the president expressed during a dinner over the past weekend.
Service to the less fortunate has been on the front burner for the Lions Club of Barbados East for the last 37 years and will continue. Two-time President Terence Innes says the 2025 motto is service with a smile.
Bringing hope to those in need and making a lasting impact. And we do it all with a smile, because true service is given from the heart with warmth, kindness, and compassion. You agree? Right. Over the past 37 years, our club has been a beacon of service, demonstrating unwavering dedication to humanitarian efforts, community development, and the empowerment of those less fortunate.
Lion Innes says they're looking to the future with warmth, kindness, and compassion, and has thanked the membership for having brought the club thus far. Reverend Gillian Crawford believes a smile is about going the extra mile and suggests even if not seen, one's voice reflects warmth and comfort to interact.
A smile, my friends in Christ, sets that attitude. Employees that smile at customers say, and I quote, "I am ready to help to the best of my ability," end of quote. Even in the most difficult service situations, a smile triumphs. In fact, a smile itself, even when forced, changes attitudes, moods, tones, and it warms up the setting. So there's the old adage saying, and I quote, "Grin and beer," end of quote. So I'll change it, and I'll say to you tonight, quote, "Smile and beer," end of quote. Serving with a smile sends persons away happy rather than sad.
Wendy Burke, CBC News.
You left me for a few nights, but she's back. Anne-Marie Burke. Time for a little cricket, perhaps?
Yes, we'll start right there, Tisha. A lively surface at Kensington Oval has been prepared for the round 3 contest between host Barbados Pride and Jamaica Scorpions in the Cricket West Indies Regional 4-Day Championship, which starts tomorrow. That's the word from curator at the region's Mecca, Winston Reid, as the Pride, who are 5th in the standings on 28.6 points, look to overtake the 4th place Scorpions, who have 29.4 points.
This pitch is like they'll be moving over to the eastern side of the block. We're going to pitch 2. This one is fully covered with grass as opposed to pitch 5. We would have done some initial preparatory work in watering, and during the game, the previous game, we watered during the morning. And early in the morning, we would have given it a roll as well. So, and then after the game, we went ahead full steam, some more rolling, and trying to get it as hard as possible as well. From by tomorrow, you will see there's lots of grass through the entire wicket. So all in all, it should be a good contest.
That's good news, as the BC announced today that pacer Kemar Roach has replaced Kemar Smith in the Pride squad for the contest. The full squad reads Craig Bradford as captain, Lanico Boucher, Shaquille Cumberbatch, Jonathan Drakes, Matthew Ford, Shem Holder, Jamar Eiffel, Zachary McCaskey, Demetrius Richards, Roach, Raymond Simmons, Joma Warrican, and Kevin Wickham. Viewers and listeners can follow the action on CBC TV 8 and radio station 94.7 FM from Kensington Oval starting at 10 a.m. Of note is that admission to the game at Kensington Oval is also free. In more cricket news, ANA strikers are through to the knockout phase after the latest results of matches in the Champion of Champions T20 tape ball competition. The strikers and Bel Air Stars were forced to abandon their match over the weekend due to wet conditions at the Police Sports Club Weymouth ground. However, in their previous fixture, Dwayne Smith led a dominant batting display as the strikers opting to bat posted 228 for 8 off their 20 overs against Combine Stars. Roderick Holder had 3 for 13. 2019. CBC's Damien Best takes a look at the match.
ANA strikers batting first against combined stars Romario Jackman into Ryshawn Williams, looking to turn this one down to fine leg, picks out Tariq Shuri instead, gone for a 3-ball duck, no runs on the board. Despite the setback, Zidane Harewood went about the business at hand with aplomb. 3 back-to-back fours, the best was this one, gorgeous cover drive off Romario Jackman. But Roderick Holder would take the sparkle out of the innings, a slower ball and Harewood gobbled up by Keeney Miller at long off for 12, 26 for 2. Abdullah Hafiji and Wazim Wankad got their signals mixed up and it resulted in the 3rd wicket to fall. Yes, no, maybe, and Wankad ran out for just 9, 27 for 3. Hafiji hit a 6 and then, looking to repeat the dosage, was caught down the ground for 7 by Shuri. Wicket to Holder, 34 for 4. More problems in the camp. Dave Lovell Jr. struck directly on his back foot, going for a big hoik. LBW to Holder for just 1, 41 for 5, 8 overs gone. Cody Phillips to Marlon Welcome Goodman, cannot keep it along the carpet. Caught by Ronaldo Holder at short mid-wicket for 8. Strikers now 53 for 6. Dwayne Smith had been quiet for the most part. Time to activate Cody Phillips, get out of town, 6 runs. Phillips got roughed up, 21 runs coming off his 2nd over. Kemar Hart over deep square leg from maximum. Smith and Hart with 2 big ones in the over. Smith reaching for it, but the placement picture perfect, 94 for 6. 8 overs to go, more carnage. Sweet song off the bat. Romario Jackman can only watch Hart on fire, 6 more. But his 14-ball sojourn ended in flashing lights. Clean bowl by Jackman for 33, 112 for 7. The danger man was still there though. Smith, aka the agent. Bat speed tells the story, 6 runs. In between the festivities, Davian Branker's supportive role ended. Caught by Shuri at long on for 7, 143 for 8. Phillips with his 2nd wicket. Back to normal programming. Smith bringing up his half-century in style. Brutal over long off. 55 runs off just 26 deliveries. What a knock. He and Sajid Hafiji took the score from 150 for 8 to a massive 228 for 8 off 20 overs. Smith finishing on 97 out of just 38 balls with 3 4s and 12 6s, while Hafiji registered 28 off 14 deliveries with 1 4 and 3 6s.
Well, thanks, Damien. In replace, Sajid Hafiji snapped up 5 for 19 as combined stars were bowled out for just 76 in 12 overs. The strikers, who are 3rd in the standings, will now battle 4th place youth and experience and eliminator on Thursday. Well, Russell Elcock came out on top when the 2025 Barbados cycling season rolled off at the Long Bay Circuit in St. Philip on Sunday. The Bike Caribbean rider won Category 1 of the Don Stout and Percival Nels Memorial Race, head of Liam Hutchinson of Century Glasesco in 2nd and Shaquille Walker of Team Sonics in 3rd. Randy Litcrish won Category 2. Category 3 went to Kemar Williams, while Category 4 was won by Liam Beckles. Meantime, Danielle Hines gave Bike Caribbean the ladies' win when she outrode Marissa Bradshaw. In the combined ladies division, Ariel Graves of Century Glasesco finished 1st, head of Leander Gittins. The Masters 50+ went to Darwin Griffith of Team Fusion, and Ian Bavell of Team Sonics took 1st place in the Masters 60+ division. Nazari Lashley of Golden Weeders took the youth category. The next local cycling meet will be the Bourbon Circuit in St. Lucie on February the 23rd. Well, Tisha, I take a pause here, and when I return, there is so much more left in the sporting world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Coming up next on CBC's Newsnight, the Business Report. Cascal's Beauty Salon is a safe place for mothers who want to look glamorous. That's the word from founder, creator, and manager Kashida Harewood. Trevor Thorpe traces the origins of the enterprise on tonight's Yes Business Report.
The salon's founder says it's a home-based initiative offering a wide range of makeup and other beauty and skin concepts for today's women. Behind the motto, look better, feel better, she says it's a place where females can visit and leave with a glamorous look.
Cascal's Beauty Salon is a salon that I created initially for single mothers, but now my target audience is mothers in general. The reason my target audience was single mothers is because most salons have a policy that you're not allowed to bring children because they're disruptive, they interrupt the service, they're not allowed to be around chemicals. And I was like, but that's not fair to single mothers, because there are mothers out there who don't have anybody to keep their children, but they still need to uphold their appearance. So I decided to create Cascales Beauty, and my main objective was for it to be a safe space for mothers where they can still bring their children, and you don't have to sacrifice finding somebody to keep your children so that you could look good. You can do both, because we are mothers, we're superheroes, so we can do everything. So that was my whole objective. So I created Cascales. You can bring your children, and your service is not disrupted because they're not in the same room as you. They're supervised, they're playing with other children, they're in a very safe environment, and you're still getting a luxury service when you come with us.
Ms. Edwards says the children's care area is not an additional cost to mothers.
Watching TV, there's a Wi-Fi available. Everybody has a tablet nowadays. Depends on the age range of the child. There are toys available. There's something for everybody to do.
The salon founder and owner says she owes her position in the marketplace to the tuition she received from the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme.
Having Yes behind my business has been great. It has been extremely supportive. I feel like you can't get this far by yourself, and you do need that support behind you. In terms of Yes, they introduced me to the marketing program, which has been a big help to my business because I struggled with marketing before. And then I have the counseling of Claire, so she helps me in terms of business structure and in terms of how to progress in terms of expanding the business. They also give me great opportunities because now I'm going to be at Girlfriends Expo this weekend, my very first year, and I'm very excited about it. Very grateful for the opportunity as well. So I do think having Yes behind me has been a great addition to my business.
Ms. Edwards says it's an enjoyable journey so far and has offered some advice to others.
Cascales Beauty Lounge, we are located in Chancery Lane, Christchurch. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook at Cascales Beauty, and then we have a website, cascalesbeautylounge.as.me. That's our booking site.
The salon founder says she is open to any opportunities which will help to further develop her business. Trevor Thorpe.
I think my biggest challenge every single day is trying to figure out whether it's going to rain or not. Carrie Ann O'Neill set the record straight.
Good evening to you, Tisha, and good evening, everyone. Well, that high-pressure system is our dominant feature today. As a result, it was mostly sunny, only a few light showers. But it is quite windy here in Barbados. We do have a high wind advisory in effect. They're peaking at 24 knots. The seas, they're above normal. We do have a small craft warning and high surf advisory in effect. The maximum temperature today was 29 degrees Celsius, the minimum 24 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 26 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 80% of the winds are coming in from the east. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where the temperatures are ranging from 24 to 26 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows that it's relatively dry across most of the islands except for Trinidad, and the winds, well, they're moderate to breezy across the region. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the high-pressure system was the dominant feature for us. As a result, we had mostly sunny skies. We had just a few low-level clouds drifting across the island. As a result, we had some light showers up to 1 millimeter of rainfall. Now, as I said, those winds, they are peaking at 24 knots. We do have a high wind advisory in effect. The seas, they are moderate to rough in open water, with swells peaking at 3.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. There is a small craft warning as well as high surf advisory in effect. Now, later on tonight, we can expect fair to partially cloudy skies. It will also be breezy along with a few light showers. Further south, convergence maintained some scattered showers across the Guianas. And over in the Western Caribbean, light showers prevailed across most of the islands. Well, that's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 6:22 and will set at 3 minutes past 6. Now, the first high tide, that's expected at 4:22 in the early morning and the first low at 9:39 a.m. The seas, they're moderate to rough in open water with swells peaking at 3.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. There is that small craft warning and high surf advisory in effect. Now the winds, they're coming in from the east and they are strong, peaking at 55 kilometers per hour. There is a high wind advisory in effect. Now later on tonight, we can expect fair to partly cloudy skies, breezy conditions, along with a few light showers. And over the next 3 days, a mix of sunshine, clouds, and showers can be expected.
All right, Anne-Marie is back for the second half of sports.
And I start with some good news in football. The Barbados Under-17 team kept their hopes alive at the 2025 CONCACAF Under-17 Men's Qualifiers Tournament with a narrow 1-0 win this evening against Dominica. It was their first win after losing 6-0 to Nicaragua. Their next match will be against Mexico on Thursday at 5 p.m. Well, the National Athletic Association of Barbados is aiming to field a team of at least 40 athletes to this year's Crifter Games in Trinidad and Tobago. There's also the aim of gaining at least 50 Crifter medals by 2028. This comes from President of the AAB, Noel Lynch, as he spoke to the athletes of the newly formed National Training Squad, a long-term program set to hone and develop the talent of the island's junior track and field athletes. With just about 2 months before the 2025 Crifter Games, under the guidance of 6 coaches, including sprint, hurdles, field, and relay, and with sessions guided by experts in various developmental sporting fields, the program funded to the tune of $10,000 for the Barbados Olympic Association's Emerging Athlete Program is aimed at improving results.
Over the next 9 weeks, you're going to be exposed to a program that's going to teach you how to set goals, how to deal with defeat, how to deal with victory. We can bring in experts to help you along the way. You're going to be taught a little bit more about nutrition, you and your parents. People that be eating wrong, eating badly, eating not so often, all kind of things. We can teach you about nutrition as it relates to your own body. We're bringing in an expert to teach you about posture, postural analysis, and development.
With the BSAT schedule set to begin next month, tonight we start to begin to highlight the athletes looking to grab the headlines. Here's a look at the first athlete hunting Crifter and BSAT glory.
It's time for Athlete in the Spotlight, where we take a look at some of the track and field stars expected to dominate at the Power A Dasani BSAT Championships. She was the 5th best under-20 girl in the high jump at last year's Crifter Games in Grenada and played an integral role on the field in Comamere's BSAT success for 2024. I'm speaking of none other than Zakaya Hunt, a 2-time national junior champion who will once again be one to watch. Hunt has already qualified for this year's Crifter Games in Trinidad and Tobago and explains that her season is off to a pretty decent start.
Starting off the season has been a great start, PBing in my high jump. I didn't really have any training going into my second meet. It was just a lot of base training with strength and conditioning. So to go out there and perform and PB with no training at all, I say is the future is looking very bright.
And obviously qualifying for Crifter so early in the season, I know for athletes, you want to get that pressure out of the way for sure. How has that been for you?
Well, it has been a relief. It feels like weight has been lifted off my shoulders to know that I have qualified, and from now it's just perfecting my craft. What
lessons you learned from last year in Grenada that you're going to hope to put forward this time around, to better your performance?
Being calm and patient and not getting too nervous. Just go there, have fun, but also stay focused.
Apart from the high jump, Zakaya is also hoping to meet the qualifying standards in the hurdles event. And this is just one of her many objectives for 2025. She details the rest.
Having a lot of PBs going and hopefully medaling for my country to make them very proud. So those are my two main goals going into Carifta.
Of course, we could not speak to Zakaya without asking her this.
Palmamere being the double crown defending champions in the boys and girls for BSAT. What's the feeling like and the buzz around the school? Do you generally feel that you guys can do it again?
Of course, it's been a lot of, let's say, support from the student body and all the athletes here going to do the double again. And I have very strong hopes that we can repeat it, seeing the training that our juniors have been putting in as well as our seniors. So we have a very good chance at doubling again this year.
Our athlete in the spotlight is Zakaya Hunt. That was your athlete in the spotlight, where we took a look at some of the track and field stars expected to dominate at the Power Ada Sani BSAT Championships.
And thanks so much, Amar. And that's it for sports. So back to you, Tisha.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. We'll return after this break. Thanks so much for sharing your time with us. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. On behalf of the entire crew, have a good night.